Hey Lorenzo, just a lot of frustration from these activists, many of whom have been doing these protests on a monthly basis. On the 14th of every month since Sandy Hook, they gather outside of the NRA building in Fairfax, voicing their concerns with the level of gun violence in this country.
He was 7 then, so he would have been 17 now.
This is the face of Daniel Barden, one of the 26 victims in the Sandy Hook shooting. His family was here in front of the NRA building to speak on his behalf.
But the fact that we can't get much through Congress is continually frustrating. And to stand out here in front of the NRA, who's blocked so much of it with their blood money, we need to keep speaking up.
They were part of about 100 people gathered outside of the headquarters in Fairfax. Some of them come every single month on the 14th to commemorate the Sandy Hook shooting.
I call us the Raging Grannies.
Diana Reed started coming out years ago and tries not to miss a month.
As a grandmother, I want live grandchildren, and I really don't feel they're safe.
We did reach out to the NRA for comment about this protest, but as of now have not heard back, as these protesters continue to call on lawmakers to take action.
I wish Congress would do something instead of sending thoughts and prayers each time.
So what legislation have we seen out of Capitol Hill?
At the federal level, there's been very little legislation.
Todd Belt is the director of the political management program at the George Washington University. He tells us the legislation passed in June was the first gun safety law passed in decades, tightening background checks and boosting red flag laws. But he says more far-reaching legislation has been incredibly divisive in Washington, which is why he says the real battle may be on the state level.
It's really become one of these highly partisan issues in our country, where we're seeing the Democratic states do one set of laws and the Republican states do another set.
Back outside the HQ, we spoke with Parkland survivor Alea Eastman, who says it's disheartening to see shooting after shooting in this country.
My life and everybody else's life is more important than an assault weapon.
All right, now, like I said, there's been a lot of new legislation on the state level. The Giffords Law Center, which works to combat gun violence, came out with a new report just yesterday. It found that in the 10 years since the Sandy Hook shooting, there have been more than 525 of what they call significant gun safety laws passed on the state level. It leaves us with a patchwork where there are some states that are passing a lot of gun control laws and some that are passing very little. Lorenzo?
Yeah, 10 years later, you think about the number of lives lost, what happened in that school that day, and it's still just so heartbreaking, still unbelievable too.
Just to look at the faces of those babies, children.
Evan, thank you so much.